year was 1894, and I was living in the fashionable Chelsea's Tite Street when I decided to take my family for a seaside holiday, as any fashionable person would do. You Americans may not be familiar with the Victorian mode of fashion. Why, fashion in Britain is tied to civility, which appears to be a peculiar notion in the States. America is the only country that went from barbarism to decadence without civilization in between. Fashion is a form of ugliness so intolerable that we have to alter it every 6 months. Take my own appearance, for example, on my tours to America. When I first arrived in 1882, I dressed in ordinary clothing rather than in my knee breeches. How terribly disappointed they were as they expected Oscar Wilde and got me. Are you not Oscar Wilde, you ask? Of course, but I am your Oscar Wilde and their Oscar Wilde. Illusion is the first of all pleasures. Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions. Their lives a mimicry. Their passions a quotation. I say, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Because of the terrible shock of my pedestrian appearance my first visit, I've since arrived on your shores I am now, in my most conventional attire, to satisfy you. The first duty in life is to strike a pose. The second duty in life no one has yet found out. I am so clever that sometimes I don't understand a word I'm saying. My seaside holiday was where I began to conceive the ideas of the importance of being earnest and commenced writing it. I find farcical comedies admirable for style, but fatal to handwriting. I decided upon a comedy that lampooned the truths and morality of Victorian society by centering the action around two men living a lie. The secret of life is to appreciate the pleasure of being terribly, terribly deceived. You, sir, you look as though you disagree. To disagree with the 3/4 of the British public is one of the first requisites of sanity. Whenever people agree with me, I always feel I must be wrong. But to examine truth, you have to accept truth and deception as a double-edged sword. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give a man a mask and he will tell you the truth. If you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh. Otherwise, they'll kill you. One can survive everything nowadays except death, and live down everything except a good reputation. I suppose the only thing worse than not being talked about is being talked about. But interestingly enough, everyone is still talking about Ernest and his themes of Victorian morality and class and the pursuit of truth in a deceptive world. Why do we seek truth? A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. Just my advice. The only thing to do with good advice is pass it on. It's never any use to oneself. Next, there is the theme of class. Class involves money. There are only two tragedies in life. One is not getting what one wants. The other is getting it. When I was young, I thought money was the most important thing in the world. Now that I'm old, I know it is. Genius is born, not paid. Shakespeare tells us all the world's a stage. The world is a stage, but the play is badly cast. I think that God, in creating man, somewhat overestimated his ability. There are only two kinds of people in the world who are really fascinating. People who know absolutely everything and people who know absolutely nothing. Both are a pleasure at the dinner table. The world is a stage. Life and literature. Life and the perfect expression of life. The principles of the former, as laid down by the Greeks, we may not realize in an age so marred by false ideals as our own. Principles of the latter, as they laid them down, are in many cases so subtle that we can hardly understand them. Recognizing that the most perfect art is that which fully mirrors man in his infinite variety. They elaborated the criticism of language, considered in the light of the mere material of the art, to a point to which we, with our accentual system of reasonable or emotional emphasis, can barely, if at all, attain. But one can dream. Yes, I am a dreamer, for a dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight. But his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. So now I will step aside to allow you to dream. The importance of being earnest.